Coming up next on the Legacy Journeys podcast.
Franklin made that comment about them putting it in the garage. Naomi was getting up. She's like, yo, I'm ready to leave. And all the girls was like, yeah, come on, let's go. And she started getting up slow because she was still tipsy and drunk and everything.
And next thing you know, she grabs the coffee pot full of coffee and throws it at Franklin's wife.
Yes.
And burns her on her back.
Yeah.
And she just goes to like screaming hysterically.
Yelling,
Pastor Jeff and Rasheda get to the hospital. They meet with Franklin and he's pissed. And he's coming at Rasheda like, yo, like, why do you keep hanging around your friend?
Right.
Like, you need to get he actually said you need to get that bitch.
Right.
And that he was gonna, press charges or whatever. He was telling the Pastor Jeff, like, you need to get your bitch. He started to say bitch.
That, right.
And Rasheda was like, bitch?
Right.
Oh, I got your bitch. And Pastor Jeff is like, calm down. She was like, nah, I don't give a damn. Like,
right.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, you're the first lady. You're the first lady.
Yeah, she was like, I don't give a damn. You ain't gonna be calling me no bitch. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Legacy Journeys, where couples over 40 come to embrace the now, explore what's next, and evolve their relationship with real talk, real love, and a whole lot of laughter. I'm your host, Liv, along with my co-host,
Carlton, host with the most, coast to coast. How y'all doing out there? And how are you doing, my beautiful queen?
I'm good. How are you?
I am freaking awesome. How about that?
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, I like to hop right into the episode.
Yes.
And I wanted to know, we wanted to know, if you all have been watching Tyler Perry's Divorced Sistas. Yes. So we did a review for episodes 1 through 3. And we're going to put that in a little card and in the description below so you all can check that out. And this episode here, what you're going to watch now, is us breaking down episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
Now, before we do that, we want to make sure you all subscribe to our channel because that helps YouTube know that we're getting engagement and they'll show it to more people.
Right.
And also it motivates us to continue putting out this good content for you all. All right. Now, we're going to tell you what we think about episode number 4 right now.
All right. And episode 4 is called Line in the Sand. So the episode continues with the church banquet. And Naomi is extremely drunk. And the ladies are trying to just get her to sober up by giving her coffee.
Right.
And so she asked Bridgette to give her some hot coffee. She said she wanted real hot. And so Bridgette brings a coffee over in a coffee pot and she sits it there because she was like, yeah, I want it black because don't nobody like cream except she was talking about her ex-husband.
Right.
And so then the episode goes into
the auction. And then before that, Rasheda and Pastor Jeff was upset because Naomi was really acting out because she was drunk.
Oh, right.
And he was like, yo, you need to ask her to leave. He was like, she was like, yo, that's my friend.
Right.
So that was happening. They had their little bickering situation going on. And, everybody was looking at Naomi with disgust.
Yeah. They were looking at her like, ugh, like, I can't believe she's here. And yeah, she was kind of making herself look crazy because she was drunk.
Right.
And so the auction begins and they auction one of the paintings that the attorney and the cops came to confiscate from her. And Franklin goes up to the stage to talk about it. And he goes on to say that how toxic his relationship was with Naomi, which I'm like, wow, really? Is he doing this at this function?
Yeah, dude was extremely foul.
Yeah. And then he started, and then he went on to explain that her brother, who was a drug addict, painted the painting. He was the artist behind the painting.
Right.
And that he passed away from a drug overdose. And when he passed away, his artwork just rose up in, went up in value. And he was just like, yeah, I hate that painting. And then he asked his new wife to stand up to acknowledge her.
Right.
And then that's when they start on the bidding. So after he has her stand up, they start on the bidding. And he wants to start the bidding off at $5.
Right.
And so they start off with $5. Somebody bid at 10. He wanted it to stop at 10. Because he was just trying to get at Naomi.
Right.
Like he was just...
Yeah, he was doing the most.
He was doing the most. And I'm like... And then Pastor Jeff had the nerve to tell Rasheda, like, make her leave.
Right.
And I'm like, what's up with your dude?
Right.
Up here, like, why you putting all your business out? And then when somebody... so he was trying to stop the bidding at 10, but then Tiffany raises her paddle and puts a bid in for $5,000. And so from there, it goes up to $30,000. And so instead of him letting her just have it, he bids $5 million.
Right.
Just so she couldn't have it.
Right.
And then he wins the auction and goes to his wife and was like, yeah, we could keep this in the garage. It's trash.
Right. But he also told the audience how much she won in the divorce settlement too. Like, yo, she can afford this.
She can afford this. All it costs her is $37 million.
Right.
Like, why are you putting y'all's business out there? Yeah, Franklin is off the chain. I can't stand his ass.
Yeah. So after they sat down and, Franklin made that comment about them putting it in the garage, Naomi was getting up. She's like, yo, I'm ready to leave. And all the girls was like, yeah, come on, let's go. And she started getting up slow because she was still tipsy and drunk and everything.
And next thing you know, she grabs the coffee pot full of coffee and throws it at Franklin's wife.
Yes.
And burns her on her back.
Yeah.
And she just goes to like screaming hysterically. And apparently Pastor Jeff got hit with some of it also.
Right.
And so everybody, went crazy trying to help her out. They call an ambulance and Naomi gets taken to jail.
Right.
And so
the wife goes to the hospital. Franklin's wife.
Right. Yeah. They send her to the hospital. And so Pastor Jeff wants to go see about, what was her name? Leslie?
Yeah, Lindsay.
Lindsay?
Yeah, okay. Lindsay was her name.
Yeah, so Pastor Jeff wants to go see about her, of course. And Rasheda's wanting to go check on Naomi.
Right.
But Pastor Jeff was like, how could you go check on her?
After what she just did.
You need to, you a pastor's wife, you need to go and see about Lindsay, because she was hurt.
Burned, right.
And so, so Rasheda decided to go. And at first he was going to have Myron take her, but she was like, no. I'm going with you. And so they go together. And then meanwhile, Javon, Geneva, and Tiffany, they ride to the police station to check on Naomi.
Right.
And that's where we learn that Javon is an attorney as well. And so, and he said that he got connections that may be able to help her get out. Okay. And so on the ride to the hospital, Pastor Jeff and Rasheda, they get into it. And so Pastor Jeff is like, I don't understand how you could be friends with somebody like Rasheda. She's just obnoxious and ratchet. And Rasheda's like, okay, like, really? You a man of the church.
Right.
Why are you saying all this about my friend? And he was like, well, she's just rude and obnoxious. And don't forget that she was the reason why we almost didn't get married.
So you started talking about Myron. It was like, yo, I see the way that he looks at you.
Oh, yeah. So, she was like, I see the way he looks at you. And he was like, what are you talking about? She was like, yeah, it's just the way that he looks at you. And he was like, that's ridiculous. Like, you always think somebody want me. Some man want me. He was like, every man and woman want me.
Right.
And she was just like, yeah, I don't know about everybody else. But with him, like, I could see it. It's something there. And he was just like, I swear to you, on everything I love that I don't, you know, because she asked, was he attracted to him? Which is a valid question. He was like, no, I swear on my kid's life that I'm not attracted to him or any other man. So there was a scene when once Pastor Jeff and Rasheda get to the hospital, they meet with Franklin and he's pissed and he's coming at Rasheda like, yo, like, why do you keep hanging around your friend?
Right.
Like, you need to get he actually said you need to get that bitch.
Right.
And that he was gonna, you know, press charges or whatever. And so then he's like coming at Rasheda asking her, like, no, he was telling the Pastor Jeff, like, you need to get your bitch. He started to say that,
right.
And Rasheda was like, bitch.
Right.
Oh, I got your bitch. And Pastor Jeff is like, calm down. She was like, nah, I don't give a damn. Like,
right.
Yeah, like. Yeah,
you're the first lady. You're the first lady.
Yeah, she was like, I don't give a damn. You ain't going to be calling me no bitch.
Right.
Especially when I ain't do anything wrong to you.
Right.
Like, that's between y'all.
Right. And he just as guilty, though.
Right. Because I'm like, you started it.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, it was wrong what she did, but you damn sure instigated it.
Right.
And so then they go into to the room where Lindsay is because he doesn't want Rasheda to go.
Right.
And so Pastor Jeff goes in there to pray for her. And then Franklin lets Pastor Jeff know, well, because of everything that's happened, I'm not going to be able to give you the $5 million.
Right.
I just don't feel comfortable giving you the $5 million.
Right.
You know, because of Naomi and what she did, and your wife shouldn't be friends with her. So until you get that situation straightened out, I'm not going to be able to donate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this nigga right here is a trip.
Yeah.
And
from that's when they're in the car. They go back home because they have another argument in the car.
Right.
Disagreement. And she's basically telling Jeff is like, well, you know, Franklin's not going to give us the money.
Right.
Or
because of Naomi. And
she was like, yo.
He wasn't going to do it anyway.
He wasn't going to do it anyway.
Right. Like, he came there to do exactly what he did. And that was to torment and talk shit about Naomi.
Right. Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But the backlash is that his wife got 3rd-degree burns on her back. Her back was ugly, y'all.
Right. And then they had her laying out. And I'm like, okay, why would they just have her just laying down like that? But anyway, that's a Tyler Perry issue. But whatever. And so, so it ends with Pastor Jeff and Rasheda. They're riding home, and that's when they're arguing. And so they get to their home, and he just gets out the car and leaves her in the car.
Right. He doesn't go come and open her door.
Right. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe he didn't open my door. And she just sits there and starts crying, and the episode ends.
Yeah.
So that's how episode 4 ends.
Mm-hmm. And then episode 5 pops right in. They're at the jail. Naomi is still locked up. And Tiffany confronts Geneva about why she never told her about Javon. And it's so funny because Liv was talking about that like in our last review. She was like, it's just strange that how are they friends?
And she knows nothing about Javon.
Right.
Like nothing about him.
Right.
Rasheda knows, William knows,
right, and
nobody else has ever met him. I just thought that was odd.
Yes.
And then Geneva was just acting like real stank because she was like, okay, like what's the deal with him? She was like, well, I never said anything because he was married.
Right.
And she was like, okay, well, tell me about his wife. Well, I don't really know him as far as the courtroom.
Yeah, that's it. Outside of the courtroom,
I don't really know him like that.
Right.
But yeah, she's standing there mean mugging him because they're getting along. And he's making her jealous.
Right. On purpose.
On purpose, yeah. Which is trifling as hell.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Tiffany still believes in her heart of hearts, you know, her radar is going off like, yo, something is wrong.
Geneva holding back.
Right.
She ain't telling her something.
Right.
Because just the way that she's behaving, yeah, I'm like, please don't give me no friend like that. Because that's just a messed up situation.
Right. And then at the end of that little scene, Javon goes and asks, he walks off and talks to I guess the cigars or the judge or whatever to finally get Naomi out.
Oh, yeah. So she did get out. Yeah, by the end of that scene, they had her out. And so on the next scene, Bridgette tells Vaughn that he needs to get a job.
Right.
She goes upstairs and he's laying down in bed. And she was just like, you need to get a job and I'm not going to be working while you just sitting here all day laying up and playing video games.
Right.
Vaughn is like, man, you starting to sound like my mom. And if you're going to be sounding like my mom, I may as well go on back and stay with her. Mm-hmm. And so Bridgette was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like going back to your mom. And he was like, why you tripping or whatever? So meanwhile, Calvin comes to Bridgette's house and he wants his key.
Right. He's looking for some kind of key.
Right. That Vaughn took from him when he was working for him. Mm-hmm. And so Bridgette goes to ask Vaughn about it. And Vaughn's like, I don't have the key. And so Calvin comes up to the behind her and, goes at Vaughn like, yo, man, you got the key. And, so they get into a fight.
And he actually pushed Bridgette out of the way. You remember that? He kind of nudged her out of the way. Yeah, kind of like, yo, let me talk to this dude.
Oh, okay.
He got up and then, Vaughn actually stood up and that's when they start tussling.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they start fighting and Bridgette is like trying to break them up, but they end up knocking her down.
Right.
And so next thing you know, Vaughn kicked Calvin's ass.
Yeah, he kicked his ass.
And
he was mad too. And he had good right to be mad because the dude was laying down. She done let this dude up in the house.
Right.
This dude come up into the bedroom and fighting. You know? So
and I know I was like, because when Vaughn was like, yo, this my house. You come up in my shit. And I was like, and it's funny because Calvin was saying like, this ain't your house.
Right.
Yeah, a man who lives he was like, this isn't your house. This ain't no house of a man who allows the woman to pay the bills. Like, that's not your house. And so I was like, yeah, I agree. Like, that's not his house. And so then Carlton was like, well, he lives there.
Right. That's and I'm like, his head.
Okay. And I guess I was thinking as like a single woman whose man is at your house, I'm like, yeah, that's not considered his house.
Yeah, he wasn't just hanging out.
He was like, yo, you come up in my house, you come up in my shit, this my shit. And I was like, yo, that is not your shit. That's Bridgette's shit. But again, he made me understand that he lays his head there, so it is considered his home.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, we go back to Pastor Jeff, and he wakes up. This is the next morning, and his son comes in asking him for money.
Right.
And so he's like, what do you need money for? He was like, I got some stuff I need to get. He was like, well, I'll give you an allowance. He was like, yeah, but I use that up. And so I need some extra money. So then he was like, well, ask your mom.
He was like,
where is she?
Mm-hmm.
And so Pastor Jeff don't even realize that Rasheda didn't come in the bed.
Right. Well, he thought she was in the
guest room. Right. He had no idea where she was.
Right.
And it's so funny because I said to Carlton, I'm like, yo, I was like, her ass better not be in the damn car or I'ma go look for Tyler Perry's ass and punch him in the throat. And then
but you gotta tell her why though. You gotta tell her why. What was it, Divorced in the Black?
Yeah, Divorced in the Black. Where Megan Good slept in the car outside the house. Like
all night, right?
All night.
Right.
And mind you, they had just came from a banquet. So she's still fully dressed.
Right.
And
Rasheda was
Rasheda
right.
And her ass was in the car, y'all.
Right.
She had slept in the car. I was like, God damn it, Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. And I had said it too. I was like, yo, I think she probably still in the car. Still in the car.
Why?
When you go to the restroom, you just.
Anyway, so yeah. So the son tells him, like, he's like, go look for your mom. And he was like, where is she?
The next scene is Geneva, Tiffany, and Javon. They're dropping Naomi back home from jail.
Right.
And so there's some conversation outside with Tiffany and Javon, and then Geneva over there giving the side eye. Because she's like, Javon's talking about how good of a time he had. He just buttering Tiffany up,
working it,
he is
making her
working.
jealous. So and so they're out there talking, and Geneva, instead of going inside with Naomi, she stands at the door.
Right.
And so Javon ends up at, like, him and Tiffany exchange numbers, and he asks her if she want to go out on a date.
Right.
And of course, she feeling him, so she accepts. And Geneva is like, next thing you know, she's like, Tiffany, we need your help in here. Even though she just standing there.
Right. She's not doing anything.
She ain't doing shit, but standing there, ear hustling. Like, so, but anyway. And so she was like, okay, I'm coming. And so they exchanged numbers or whatever. And he asked her out that evening. And then Geneva's like, yeah, well, thank you for your services, Javon.
Yeah.
Like, that would be all like excusing him. Because she was mad.
Right.
And so he left. And then they all go in and talk to Naomi. And she's still upset. And her house is a mess. And she's explained to them that Franklin did that.
Right. With the previous
in the previous episode where the attorney and the cops came in and they took her shit.
Yeah, they just ramshacked out.
Right. And they broke some stuff and her house was a mess. And then she was upset thinking they probably hate her for what she did. And so they are assuring her, because by this time Bridgette comes.
Yeah, Bridgette
stops by also. So it's Bridgette, Geneva, and Tiffany. And they're letting her know, like, no, we don't hate you. But they do let her know that what you did was wrong and is serious.
Right.
And that you could possibly go to jail.
Right.
Unless you get a real good defense attorney.
Right.
Because although, like I said, he did provoke her, but yeah.
You crossed the line. What is that, assault or something?
Yeah. And then she had 3rd-degree burn. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be ugly for her.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see how they're going to,
work that out. Right.
Yeah. So the next scene shows them leaving, shows all the girls leaving Naomi's house. And Tiffany receives a text from Javon, which makes Geneva jealous. So he's still messing with her, making her jealous.
Right. Because she was like, oh, this is Javon. He just texted me. And Geneva and Bridgette was like, oh, like, what did it say? And so she's reading the text message. And he's basically like saying how he was, he appreciated everything in their talk. And he can't wait to see her that evening.
Right.
Which just makes Geneva even more angry.
Right. To piggyback on that scene, they show Bridgette and Tiffany on the way to drop Tiffany off back to her car. And Bridgette shares about the fight between Calvin and Vaughn.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then she put him out. And he had, she's like, boy, I sent him back home to go to his mama. and Tiffany was like, you know how that sounded, right?
She was like, you know how ridiculous that sound, right? And Bridgette was like, yeah, girl, I know. I heard myself say it.
I knew it when I heard myself say it. So that was a little funny scene. But it flips to another scene and Javon is out jogging and he calls William to let him know that he and Tiffany, really hit it off and they have a date.
Right.
And this dude is scandalous. He's devious, yo.
Because he invites William and Geneva to go with them.
Right.
But William declines because he's like, yeah, something's going on with Geneva. I can't really put my finger on it. And so we're going to pass. And so he kind of insists and he's like, no, y'all just go and fill each other out and enjoy and have a good time.
Yeah. And the next couple of scenes were kind of fast. You had Naomi, she called the prostitute, to ask them to come over.
Oh, right, right.
That was one scene that was really quick, and he agreed to come through to find out what she was talking about. And then Geneva, in the next scene, finally makes it home, and she's pretty cold with William. For whatever reason, she's cold. Yeah. But she still thinks he's cheating.
Right.
Right. So she's cold with him, and then you got the whole thing with Javon happening. So, yeah, she got a whole lot of drama in her mind. So they flip to a scene where Pastor Jeff is coming downstairs, and then his daughter is coming downstairs because she's looking for
Rasheda, right.
Right. And she's like, yo, where's mom? Mom didn't sleep in her bed and she's not in the guest room. Like, what's going on? Are y'all getting a divorce?
Are y'all fighting?
Right. Y'all
like, what's going on?
Right.
And he assures his daughter, like, no, everything is fine. And she was like, well, why isn't mom, like, why isn't she here?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was like, he really didn't have an answer.
Yeah, he didn't have an answer.
Because he didn't know where she was at.
Right. He still didn't know where she was.
He still didn't know where she was at.
Right.
And so...
And the man didn't even go looking for the woman.
That's why
I'm just going to say, the man didn't even go looking for the woman.
And then the daughter was like, well, if y'all do get a divorce, I'm coming to stay with you, Dad. And I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, she choosing sides.
That teenage girl bullshit. Though. She hate the mom.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. And so the next scene, the prostitute shows up at Naomi's house.
Right.
And then she asked him about, you know, what it would take to kill Franklin. She
didn't come out and ask that, but she was like, because he said to her last time, like, I could get stuff done for you.
Right.
And she was like, okay, well, how does that work?
Right.
And so he let her know. He was like, oh, yeah, like, that's easy.
Right.
And so, yeah, it seems like she's going to pay him to, I don't know if it's kill Franklin or do something to him.
Right. It sounded like she wanted to take him off the planet.
Right.
Because that's basically what she said.
Oh, did she? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That scene after that, Pastor Jeff and Rasheda's kids come outside and they see her in the car. Sitting in the car. So they're asking her about
That's where they found her in the car.
Right.
Yeah, the kids, they go into school to catch the bus and they go outside and she's out in the car.
Right.
And so they talk to her and like, hey, Mom, are you okay? What's wrong? Why are you out here? And she just letting them know that she's fine and to go on to school.
Right.
Because she don't want to talk about it, of course.
Right. Yeah, they don't need to know really what's going on.
And so the next scene
is Geneva
spies on William.
Right.
And so William takes Anika to school. And so Geneva decided, let me see who this woman is that he be talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets to the school and she sees him giving, like, it looks like
some flowers.
Yeah,
it's a little bouquet of flowers.
A little white lady, to a white lady.
Right.
And it didn't seem suspect.
Yeah, it seemed kind of innocent, but you don't know.
It seemed kind of innocent because he didn't give her like roses. It was like, it looked like daisy or something.
It was like some spring flowers. Right, you might have just picked up on the side of the road.
Exactly. That's exactly how it looked.
Right.
And so, and they gave each other a hug.
Right.
And so for Geneva, that just confirmed it for her.
Mm-hmm.
And so she decides to follow the white lady.
Mm-hmm. But before she did that, though, Javon called. So Javon called and was on the phone talking to her while she was watching William hug and give the white lady the flowers.
Right.
So she was talking to Javon and she was real short with Javon.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what do you want?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing this? Da-da-da. You know what I mean? And so she basically hung up on him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then she took off and followed the
white lady.
Yeah, the white lady. Okay. Yeah. And mind you, she even though she had come home that morning, she still didn't change clothes.
Yeah.
As soon as William left to drop Anika off, she followed William to the school.
Right.
She still had her dress on, y'all.
Right.
So she's gone.
Right.
Yeah, she gone.
Yeah.
So Pastor Jeff in the next scene, in the final scene, really comes out to see Rasheda still sitting in the car. And he was like, yo, why are you still sitting in the car? She's like, yo, you didn't open the door for me.
Right.
He's like, wait a minute, it's a door. You could just open the door yourself. It's an electric car. Look, you just push the button and the door opens. You know, he was baffled by it.
Right. And honestly, I was too at first because I was like, why is that so important that you slept in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah.
But then she goes on to say it represents him not opening up to her. I thought that was kind of deep. Yeah, and a whole lot of other things that it represented to her.
Right.
Yep. And then he gets that call from Myron.
Right. Yeah. And so they're in the middle of arguing. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, you don't make any time. You make time for everybody else except for her. Right. And so he gets a call and she just takes it, like, because he was going to put it in the pocket of his suit jacket, but she takes it, snatches it from him, and answer it, and it's Myron.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey, babe, what did he say?
Are you in the car,
Are you in the car, babe? Can you talk? And then he says it again, like, babe. And so... Rasheda's face is like, and that's where the
Jeff was
episode ends.
But wait a minute.
He
was going, he's like, he was getting ready to start trying to explain.
Yeah, so that's how episode 5 ends.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the next episode, episode 6, which is called Heavier Than Words, it starts from the last scene where Myron called
the
Pastor Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And Rasheda just walks off.
Mm-hmm.
She walks off. She's like, you know what? This is too much. I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. So she goes in the house, and then
Jeff calls
Myron back. And Myron's like, oh, sir, I'm so sorry. I thought I was calling my wife.
Right. And he sounded sincere, y'all. He did. I mean, because why would he say that? That was my thing. Why wouldn't he? Why would he say that to Jeff? Yes, if they was an item, why would he be like, yo, I was trying to call my wife?
It's something going on.
I mean, if he wasn't trying to call his wife.
That is true. You got a point there. But that scene, I'm just, I don't know. It's a little iffy.
I think some more gonna come out in the woodwork. But Myron was very apologetic.
Yeah, he was. He was.
And he wasn't listening, though, and the pastor was just getting really upset. Like,
because he was like, you're not listening.
I don't need you to meet me over here or do all this extra stuff. Why did you have a doctor come to the house? I didn't ask you to do all that.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm worried about you. You were burned.
Yeah, I need to take care of you. I have to take care of you,
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That was like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then Pastor Jeff gets in the car and he starts to pray for, Rasheda. And in the midst of that, he gets a call from Tiffany because she was looking for Rasheda.
Right.
He tells Tiffany about their disagreement and how he wouldn't open the door for her. And Tiffany was like, oh, wait, you didn't open the door for her? Oh, she's going to leave you.
It's over.
It's over. She's going to leave you. She's probably in the house right now thinking about how she's going to leave you. And I'm like...
He's like, because I didn't open the door?
Right. He's baffled.
And she's like, yes. Because you didn't open the door.
He was like, what is it about it? Like, what happened? I can't tell you. She should tell you.
She should be the one to tell you.
She should be the one to tell you. And he was like, yo, what is it? You're her best friend. Like, what is it?
Right. I just can't tell you, Jeff. You're really going to have to ask her. It's not my place to tell you.
Yeah.
And then one more time, Jeff asked her, and she was like, well.
Okay. I'll tell you. And so she begins to tell him the story about when they were in college. Rasheda's boyfriend had some friends that come over.
Yes. No, Rasheda's boyfriend was in a fraternity.
Okay.
And then they were making out at a party, and some of his frat brothers came in, and they wouldn't let her leave out of the room, and they raped her. And he still wouldn't, her quote unquote boyfriend still wouldn't let her leave out of the room. So that was the whole thing
with not opening the door for her.
Right.
And she told Pastor Jeff that when she met him, he opened all doors for her. And so, I guess that's how she fell for him.
Right. And she was like, oh, she's triggered.
Right.
That's what Tiffany said. She's triggered.
And him not opening the door for her triggered her to sleep in the car overnight. Yeah. And so he was like, oh, of course he didn't know. And so he was just like, okay, he'll go talk to her. Because she was like, unless you talk to her
right now,
she's going to leave you. And so they get off the phone and he goes to talk to Rasheda.
Exactly. And ask her for forgiveness. And then he starts saying, he didn't come out eventually and tell her. Well, he didn't come out originally and tell her that, I heard this about you.
Right.
He starts saying, I'm walking in your shadow. And
well, no, he said, I will always open the door for you.
Right.
And he was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And he was just explaining to her like how he's been feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And he lets her know, like, you know, because they did a book together and her book was better than his. And so he said he was jealous of that. And then he also said that people like love her.
Naturally love her. Mm-hmm.
And he has to work to get people to like him.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of all of that, that's like, I guess, the problems that they've been having with their relationship.
Right. And then he just tells her he's getting ready to leave.
Right.
To go to the hospital. And then he bounces.
Right. Or so she thought.
Right. Because the next scene, they show her finally getting cleaned up after the long night from the banquet. And she gets a call from Geneva. And Geneva's confessing, like, hey, I'm following this girl from the school, following this white lady that I seen William with,
right?
Following her back to wherever she's going,
right?
You know, and Rasheda like, yo, why are you doing that?
You must really want to be with Javon because you're trying to pin something on William, so you'll feel justified in leaving him and going to Javon.
Okay, so they do have this conversation about Tiffany and Javon, you know, and how things went with them the night before, but she's like, yo, you know, that can't happen, and we know that can't happen. Right. So they both know that that's foul, you know, and then they briefly talk about Naomi for a minute, and then they move it on to the next scene. So, and that's when Pastor Jeff comes back into the house. Okay. He's like, yeah, I was getting ready to leave, and I thought about it. You know, I wanted to come back up here and talk to you some more. And that's when he tells her the truth about, he knew about the fraternity party, her being raped.
Right. Well, he didn't come out and tell her. She could tell, like, you talked to somebody. And she was like, who did you talk to? She was like, I know it wasn't Geneva because she was in her bag. And I know it wasn't Bridgette or Naomi, so it had to be Tiffany. And he was like, yeah, I ain't talked to nobody yesterday. And she was like, see, yes, you did, because you never want to lie. And so you try to deflect. Right. And so she was like, who was it that you talked to? And then she figured it was Tiffany.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, I told her. She initially said that I should talk to you, but I got her to tell me. And so she explained to me what happened. Because she was like, you're just being like, you're being weird. Like, what's going on? And so.
Yep. So he apologized again for the previous night. Because he knows about the rape. It was a very emotional scene. They had the music on and everything.
Because it was like, hopefully he was being honest and true with his feelings. Because he really seemed like he was sincere. And he felt bad for everything that happened.
Yeah. So this is where it starting to get good. So the next scene, Kelvin is at the church. And and Bridgette comes in the door and he confronts Bridgette about Vaughn, telling her he's a little kid. He just always downplaying dude. And I get it because, dude left him high and dry at the job.
Right.
You know, and he tells her that he's having Vaughn arrested for beating him up. You know, and Pastor Jeff and Rasheda walk in right about that time. And Kelvin asks to speak with the pastor in private. And so Rasheda and Bridgette go off to their own little to Rasheda's office, and then they start talking about what happened with the fight and how she put Vaughn out.
Right.
You know, and then Bridgette notices Rasheda is glowing and everything, how they came in all lovey-dovey.
They came in, her and Pastor Jeff came in holding hands.
Right.
Which is unusual for them.
Right.
And so Bridgette noticed and she was like, oh girl, somebody must have got some. Because she was all smiling and so Bridgette caught on to that.
Right.
And then Tiffany calls Geneva as she was about to go in her car.
Right. About to get in the car. And so she called her and then Geneva looked at the phone and put it down and didn't realize that Tiffany was literally standing there in front of her. And she's like, yo, so that's what we doing now?
Right. Like, you ignore my calls now?
Right.
And so Geneva was like, oh, I'm sorry. She was like, she was in a rush to get somewhere. She was like, what are you doing here? And so Tiffany's like, well, somebody called, a real estate agent called for her to do a showing. but she didn't know who she was showing it to.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was just showing up. And then all of a sudden, Javon comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And so
he's the actual buyer or renter because the property's for rent. So he's the one that's interested in it.
In the house, and it's next door to Geneva and William.
Right. So that's very suspect. He's like, yeah, we can be neighbors. So,
yeah.
So, and when he comes through, he brings Tiffany flowers.
Right.
Right. And so Geneva got upset by that.
She got upset.
Right. And she eventually leaves.
Right.
Now, the next scene shows Geneva going to Anika's friend's Maddie's mom. Her name is Yara, the white lady.
Okay, Yara. Okay.
Yara. So to the yoga studio, because that's what she followed her to in the previous episode.
Right.
Earlier, she had followed her to the yoga studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so she went there on the false pretenses to find out more about her and to get her phone number and just to be nosy.
Right.
She got her detective hat on, and it was just weird. You could tell it was weird.
Yeah, because she goes in and she's like, hi. And the lady's like, hi, like, may I help you?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, yeah. She was like, I'm looking for Maddie's mom. And she was like, oh, I'm her. And she was like, oh, hi. She was like,
our kids go
to school together.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, oh, okay. Like, how does she know who her daughter is without like her saying? Because I'm like, okay, how is she supposed to know which one is your kid? Because she didn't say.
Oh, I didn't hear her. She didn't mention Anika's name?
I mean, not at first. She was like,
knew who William was, though. She was like, yeah, he dropped your husband.
Right. She knew who William was, but it was just the way that she approached her at first. And I was like, wait, that doesn't.
Yeah, it was just. I don't know. But anyway, the white lady.
Right.
And she knew something was off. But even before she knew something was off,
mm-hmm.
Geneva actually took her phone and hit record on her phone, like a voice recorder or something like that, and left her drop the phone down.
Right.
And walked out of the building. Right. So she can see if the lady was going to call somebody immediately.
She was thinking it would be William.
Right.
Immediately.
Right. So she goes back in. She goes out to the car. Waits a few moments.
Right. She smokes a cigarette.
Right.
And then puts it out and go back in.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all, this is where you can hear, clearly there were some editing problems. Right. Because you hear Tyler say, "In action."
Action.
And she opens... Geneva opens the door and walks into the yoga place.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I forgot my phone. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And so she gets her phone because they exchange numbers.
They exchanged numbers before she left the phone.
And then she gave her phone. Like they gave each other their phone.
Yeah, to exchange.
And I was like, but babe, I've never seen that. Like, yeah, I'm not going to give my phone to you. I'm going to ask you what's your number and I'm going to put it in there myself.
Right.
Not give you my phone.
I've seen them do that a couple of times on the divorce. I've seen it somewhere else.
Oh,
too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, is that how people exchange numbers now?
Yeah.
They just give each other their phones. But anyway,
yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
it was just
weird.
an observation.
Right.
So she goes back, gets the phone, and then she listens to the recording, and Yara is talking to what sound like maybe her husband.
Right.
It definitely wasn't William.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, actually,
they made it seem like it was.
It made it seem like, it sounded like it was her husband.
Right, because you can hear who she was talking to.
Right.
Because she just left the phone out on the desk, so you can only hear Yara's voice.
Right.
But she was like, yeah, I love you. I'll see you I'll call you back when I get home.
Right. So you don't, that's true. You don't know.
So it keeps you in suspense on what it is, but.
Who she was talking to.
Right. In the next scene, Geneva finally makes it to the church, after making her detour.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks to Rasheda and tells her that she went to the yoga studio. Right. And she says she still believes William's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And Rasheda's like, yo, you're behaving like this because of Javon.
Right.
And what you did with Javon in the past.
Right. And it's like you're trying to pin something on William to justify you leaving him and going back with Javon.
Right.
And then, you know, and so she was telling her, Geneva was telling Rasheda, like, yo, like, yeah, he asked Tiffany on a date. And he brought, she was like, and he brought her a rose.
Right.
And I was like, come on, Tyler Perry. He brought her roses.
Right. A whole bouquet? A
whole bouquet of roses, not just one rose. Rasheda's like, okay, well, if you do catch him, what are you going to do? She was like, oh, I'm going to confront him. And so Rasheda was like, and then what?
Right.
And then she was like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to confront him and I'm going to talk to him. And she was like, and then what? And Geneva was like, okay, why you keep saying, and then what? She was like, okay, because what are you going to do with this?
Right. You always have an end game in mind before you even get started.
Right.
But
and so,
not this time.
Right. So
reason.
What are you going to do? And, you know, she was like, you doing all this for Javon? And then she goes on to say that, you know, what am I supposed to do? Just be stuck in this like boring marriage?
Yeah.
Like, is this what really marriage is supposed to be day in and day out? And Rasheda was like, girl, no, marriage is what you make it.
Right. And she did let her know that she wasn't happy in her marriage.
Right. Yep. And it's like, why? You're not happy because of this whole shit with Javon. And then Rasheda was like, why would you? Because, then Geneva tells her, like, yeah, talking about he got some good dick.
Right.
And that she knows that if him and Tiffany have sex,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Right.
And she was like, well, what do you mean by that? And she was like, girl, like, the dick is so good. I know she had
it. Big.
Oh, that's what she said.
She's never been with anybody
big.
that size.
She's never been with anybody that size. And she knows that if Tiffany gets it, it's going to be a wrap and she's done. And she's like, we got to figure out a way to, you know, where he won't go for Tiffany. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? First of all, y'all in the church having this conversation. Okay. Second, and Rasheda was like, nah, like, this is crazy.
Right. Too early.
Right. Like, you doing all this for this man? And she was like, he's a good man. Not if he lying to your best friend to make you jealous.
Right.
Is he that good of a man? Like, hell no. That man is trifling.
Right. And she said, Rasheda told her, she was like, yo, he's trying to excite you. And, you know, she was like, yes, She was like, yes, I'm extremely turned on by what he's doing.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
I'm like, yeah, please don't give me no friends like that. Because that is wild.
Yeah.
And then you going to say he a good man. No, he is not, honey.
Right. Based on how he's
treated. If he's using your best friend to get at you. That ain't no good man. No. And he slick crazy. Like, why would you want to live next door?
Right.
That's crazy.
That is cray.
Yes.
So moving into the final scenes. So they flip to Bridgette, because Bridgette is going back to her office, and she receives a text from Vaughn saying that he can't have her. He's going to kill himself.
Yes.
And she is all frazzled. You know, she is just, you know, she's really frantic. And then Rasheda and Geneva come into the room while she's doing this stuff. And, you know, they're upset. You know, everybody's frantic. So, well, let's just go talk to Jeff and let Jeff know what's going on.
Right.
So they go into Pastor Jeff's office. He's still talking to Kelvin. They boot Kelvin out. And
they get Pastor Jeff. And so she tries calling him.
She eventually gets him too.
And so he doesn't answer at first.
Right.
And so she finally gets him and she's talking to him. And, you know, they get Pastor Jeff to talk to him. And he's like, yo, I don't, you know, after a while, he's like, I don't want to hear all that. Let me talk to Bridgette.
Right.
And so he's talking to Bridgette and he's just like, you know, my mom don't want me.
Right.
You don't want me. Don't nobody want me.
You trying to send me to jail.
Right. You trying to send me to jail. And, you know, and so she's like begging him like not to do anything. And Rasheda starts praying. And yeah, so they go back and forth. And then all of a sudden he was like, no, I'm ending this. And you hear a gunshot.
Right. I really loved you.
I really loved you. Yeah, you hear a gunshot.
Right. And then she just yelled out, Vaughn!
Yeah.
So that's how episode
6 ends.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Like, yeah, Tyler Perry got down. It's still like certain things like he does that just irks the hell out of me. But overall, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Right. And we got some discussion prompts for y'all.
Questions, yes.
All right. So the first one, was Franklin out of line for blasting Naomi at the banquet, or was she already doing too much? Okay. And like, would you all have thrown the coffee? If you were there,
thrown the coffee, I would have cussed his ass out,
right? And
probably, maybe get charged for assault, but not that type of assault.
Yeah, because she finna go down.
Right.
Yeah, she finna go down. All right. And do you think Geneva is trying to catch William? Do you think Geneva is trying to catch William cheating or justify reconnecting with Javon?
I think both.
Yeah, I think it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's both. So, which is crazy. I think she got some screws loose.
Yeah.
Is Rasheda finally starting to wake up in her marriage, or is Pastor Jeff just good at damage control?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, was he really being sincere?
Yeah,
he got on his knee and everything.
He was.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
He seemed like he was really hurt, though. Once he found that out, he seemed like he was really hurt. Oh, yeah,
he did. And that's why I said he seemed really sincere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. And how would you handle a friend, air quotes, like Javon, flirting with your bestie while you're still low-key catching feelings?
Yeah, that situation to me is just bizarre. Like I said, please, Lord, don't let no friend, that type of friend find me.
I know that's
because, yeah, that's just dirty.
Yeah, you should have been and told your girl.
Right, your best friend. Like, why would you allow that?
Right. Yeah, that's trifling.
Yeah, that. I don't give a damn how horny you are or whatever. Ain't no man worth, like, messing up your friendship, especially a man that you were cheating with.
Right.
Like, get the hell out
y'all was already being low down. You know he's low down already.
Right. So. And so, yeah, no.
Yeah. So after everything that happened with Vaughn, do you think Bridgette ignored the warning signs for too long? How could she know?
How could she know?
I mean, I know that like
he just seemed like a deadbeat, like a young look, like they call them now, young niggas who didn't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be a content creator.
Right.
But he wasn't doing anything towards it. So I didn't see any signs.
No, I didn't either. But then again, you just never know.
That threw me off.
Yeah, they also said something in there about that generation, that age generation.
Mental health.
They took me mad.
Because he was saying, Vaughn was saying to Bridgette before the fight, he was like, yo, like you're messing with my mental, health or whatever. And Bridgette was like, yeah, see, that's the problem with y'all. Like when I was your age, like that wasn't a thing.
Right.
Like mental health.
Right.
And like now, that's all y'all talking about. And y'all always angry. Like
yeah, that generation.
It
is. It's a little different.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
And even when they were going back and forth, I didn't think he would go through with it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was getting close to about an hour. I knew something.
Right, but what's that bad? Like, because he said he went to his mom, and his mom don't want him, and she don't want him.
Right.
And that threw me off. That really threw me off.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know what people.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, you just never know
what they going through. Yeah. Right.
So we want to know what y'all thoughts are. You got the discussion prompts questions, and yeah, we want y'all also to do something else too, right?
What's that?
We asked y'all before. Go ahead and subscribe. We already asked y'all to give comments, share it with somebody else who's actually watching Divorced Sisters.
Right.
Somebody else may want to hear the commentary. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time we're putting out new videos. And you see the swag, check us out at legacyjourneys.net/swag. So you can get your own merchandise and you can support the movement. All right. So until next time, This has been Carlton.
And I'm Liv.
And this is the Legacy Journeys podcast,
where we embrace, explore, and evolve relationships.
We'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace.